You're listening to Life Coaching Secrets Podcast, episode 212. Did you know that life coaches are needed now more than ever? I'm Frank Macri, founder of Thriving Coach Academy. I've trained over 1,000 coaches and helped them launch their own successful coaching businesses. If you want to make an incredible income and impact as a coach and have a lot of fun doing it, I'll show you exactly how to get it done. This is Life Coaching Secrets. Hello, everybody. Welcome to today's episode. For today, I have a very special guest joining me, one of our graduates of Thriving Coach Academy, Colleen Blatnick, who runs her own part-time coaching business where she helps women over 40 find real lasting love. So Colleen, thank you for being on the show today.
Thank you, Frank. It's so exciting to be here.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about your niche, the specialty that you focus on. What is it specifically that you support your clients with?
Well, I really support women over 40, just really unlock the doors to find lasting love, whether it's, overcoming limiting beliefs or doubts or whatever that looks like, whether they're ready to jump in a relationship now, or maybe they need to step back and really work on building up confidence from things they've been through, whatever that looks like. I want to help them do that and find
Beautiful.
this, find the relationship they've been looking for.
Excellent. Now, I know that there is a story of what led you to pursue this specialty with your coaching. So, what is that? What's the background that led you to decide you want to support women find love?
I didn't get married till I was 43. And it was a time in my life when really I was convinced it was not going to happen. I was going to be a spinster forever. And I even traveled the world looking for, where's this man? Where is this connection I'm going to find? But really, I didn't even know what I was looking for. And actually, he was less than 2 blocks away. After I moved back to my town, he was less than 2 blocks away the entire time. But it really did take a mind shift change for me to really realize, what I wanted and get rid of limiting beliefs and just open myself up to the possibilities that were right there in front of me.
I love it. So
Yeah.
you've gone through it yourself.
hmm
And what are some of the specific signs that you look for in your audience and your clients that allow you to know that they have exactly what your coaching helps resolve?
Yeah, there's a couple. So if somebody is struggling with self-doubt and low confidence, many people, especially as we age, people feel like they just are undesirable once they get past a certain age, and they feel like they're not no one's going to want them or whatever those crazy thoughts are. So if you're feeling that you're afraid to be rejected and need to get rid of these thoughts, I think that's a huge thing that we need to overcome. And then maybe you feel like, love isn't in the cards for you. That's how I felt. I felt like all the good men are taken. But the truth is there are a lot of single men out there that are looking for the same thing you're looking for. Maybe you feel you have dating burnout or you're just exhausted. I remember one of my favorite episodes in Sex and the City when Charlotte's just like, where is he? I'm exhausted. And I felt that so many times. But sometimes when you feel like you're just desperately looking or just keep looking, you don't want to settle, but you're not really looking for somebody that's aligned with what you value and what you hold dear. So that is never going to be a relationship that lasts. Or maybe you feel like you're afraid of repeating old patterns, the ladies who say, I always pick the wrong guy. Well, that's a myth and it's not true. And we have to stop internalizing that and get out of this cycle to really see what is possible. And then really finally, just feeling stuck. Maybe you feel like you've tried everything and nothing's working. But feeling stuck is kind of like the in air quotes rock bottom in the dating world, because it really leads for a springboard for transformation. It really gives the opportunity. You need to shift your mindset, reclaim your confidence, and be open to really what you want.
Wow, wow. Now, out of curiosity, do you find that more
Mm.
of your clients have they already been in other marriages or long-term relationships before? Are a lot of them have just been single and never really found that person, or do you find a mix of both in the women that you work with?
A mix of both, but honestly, I don't know what it is about nurses, but I know a lot of nurses that have never been married. You know, they feel like they have their career and their houses and they have their lives and they've been single for their whole lives. So
Mm,
there is a mix of both, but surprisingly, I guess I'm surprised. There is a lot of single people over 40 that just have never found the right mate.
yeah. And I imagine too, with the world we live in today and technology and the apps, that there might be some fear and overwhelm and frustration. I like how you described it as dating burnout that comes with figuring out how to even navigate the dating scene today. Would you say that you notice that as well?
Yeah, for sure. For sure, there's date burnout. And then there's just, the dating apps and just so much
Yeah.
avenues and so many ways it could
Find
be
love nowadays.
overwhelming.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you mentioned nurses earlier, and I know just from, you being in the program that that's the previous career that you were in, right? You were working as a
Mhm.
nurse for a long time. So
Yeah.
probably saw, like you mentioned with your fellow colleagues, you saw this challenge amongst other nurses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
definitely. Yeah, people, they have their career and they kind of that
Mm,
identifies them and it kind of fills a space, but everybody wants to or not, I mean, there are so many people that want to be in a relationship, but they just don't know how to move forward and fit that
yes.
into their already full life, but they do feel like something is missing.
Got it. All right. Well, in Thriving Coach Academy, as you know, and as I think a lot of our listeners know, one of the signature processes and tools that we teach is the rule book coaching method. And it's, about pinpointing the the rules that are holding your clients back and knowing
Mhm.
exactly how to address those rules and help your clients rewrite the rules they have in their lives. In your
Yes.
case, it's in their dating life and their love life. So let's talk about the rules that you hear most often with your client. What would you say is maybe, I know there's probably a lot that you
Yeah.
hear, but give us maybe some of the most common rules that hold your niche back.
Okay. There are a lot. You're right. I think main one that I've been seeing lately is that my clients feel like as they age, I need to lose weight. I need to look younger. I need to somehow perfect myself before someone else is going to love me at that whole undesirable feeling. But they feel like there's this better version of themselves if I just start working out or whatever that better version looks like, but it's just out of reach. They can't quite put their hands on it. And, comparing themselves with other people that are napping up these relationships seemingly, without any problems. But really, you have to realize that, lasting love is going to grow from you being your authentic self, not this perfect person that you're going to try to strive to be first. So love doesn't care. It just wants you, just you being authentic.
So I'm hearing like, oh, first I need to fix myself,
Mhm.
or like you said, perfect myself before I can actually date. So there's this constantly thinking like, you're not good enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got it. All right. Give us another rule that you hear often.
Oh, I always hear all the good guys are gone. All the good men are taken. And as get older and you're dating, you just feel like you're swimming in this pool of shrinking prospects, which gives you a scarcity mindset. And you're not going to find anything when you have a scarcity mindset. You're going to find what you're looking for, and that is there are people finding relationships, but there's no reason that you can't either. So this mindset really blinds you to all the possibilities and all the things that are right in front of you that maybe you're not seeing.
Yeah. It's like in the academy how we talk about whatever you look for, you're gonna find. So if you're
Mhm.
if you're looking for the belief that all the good ones are taken,
Yeah,
then you're gonna
yeah,
find evidence of that because it's what you're looking for.
yeah,
So
for sure.
I can imagine how that's a big one to address with your clients.
Yeah.
Um, all right, so what are some of your own stances that you take when it comes to finding love over 40 as a woman? Just, share with us just some of your own philosophy that you have around it.
Um, I like my clients to think of themselves as a ship, this gorgeous vessel that is going to set sail on the ocean. And before you do that, you're going to have the best equipment. You're gonna have to weather the storms and stay on that course. Stay on the course to get to that destination, which is to find your partner. So your little ship on the ocean. S is you have to stop all the negative self-talk because we all know that ships in the ocean don't sink because of the water that surrounds them. It's the water that gets inside. And that's what happens when you have negative thoughts. It's going to sink your dating vessel, so to speak. So you really, these come up in the sneakiest ways, these thoughts. So you really have to be mindful of your thoughts and try to keep a more positive outlook. And you're of course going to have bad dates. You're going to have bad experiences and meet people that, aren't your match. You're going to have some great stories probably, but you really have to challenge these negative thoughts with that inner critic, maybe, with the coach, and just come up with some more empowering self-talk. And then the H is you have to have hope because hope is it's the wind in your sail. It's going to get you through the rough waters that are bound to come. But again, good stories. And they're going to get you to that destination on the other side, which is you in a loving, lasting relationship. And then the I is the inspiration that you're going to need. So you wouldn't set off on your journey without some sort of a guide or a compass.
Mm.
So that's what you need to look for when you're dating. You find who's doing what I want to do, who's done this, who's succeeded in finding this love. And you need to follow them. You need to listen to podcasts, watch videos, watch movies, whatever that means. You have to stay connected with that sense of possibility because we all know that misery loves company, and there's plenty of people out there that will, drag you down with all their jaded stories and their really bad time that they're having. So you really need to stay above that and just find the inspiration you need. And then the P, you're the captain, you have to play the role of this person that wants to be in a loving, healthy relationship and think, would I date me? How can I make me the best person I can right now? I'm working towards making the best version of me so that I will be absolutely ready when the time comes.
I love that. Okay, so this ship is not just a
Yeah, little
metaphor.
yacht. Yeah.
Oh, it's like a yacht. I love it.
Yeah.
Um, so the idea of the ship, it's not just an awesome metaphor, but it's also a beautiful framework that you have, which is just to recap for all the listeners, stop the negative talk, which was
Yes.
S, have hope, that was the
Have
H,
hope. Yeah.
inspiration, and
Yep.
then play the role. So showing up as the captain. That's
Yeah.
amazing. When you were talking about inspiration, how it's your environment, the people you surround yourself is key. It actually made me imagine like here are the women in there, as you described, like the gorgeous ships and yachts they have out there. And then there's like this pirate ship that's blasting cannons
Yes.
at your ship, and you got to steer away from those pirates that are trying to take your ship
Yes.
down.
And there will be pirates, but you've got this
Yeah.
for
Yeah.
sure. Yeah.
Beautiful. I love it. So I imagine like this is part of the process that you walk your clients through when you are supporting them. Is that right? Like
Yeah.
guiding them through these steps?
Yes, definitely.
Very good. Are there any other ideas or stories that you'd want to share with our audience, just that would relate to your coaching and the clients that you serve?
I guess, if you everybody, I don't know if you could find anyone who hasn't had a bad dating experience. They've had painful relationships. Everyone's had their little heart broken, disappointments, all of that. But everybody has. It's a natural part of life. You've got to remember that. So just because these happen to everyone, some people move through them and some people are stuck, but you have to realize that those bad experiences, they don't have to define you or your dating style or what looking forward looks like.
Mhm.
It is about how you think about these experiences. And, your thoughts are like a filter. And if your filter is just clouded with heartache and jadedness and misery, then that's what you're going to see. You're going to be looking through your little dating windshield and it's going to be a mess. And so you're not going to see all the great opportunities and the things that are open for you. You're going to just it's going to be a really clouded situation that not going to get you your love, I can tell you.
Yep, like the captain of the ship with the binoculars. They can't be
Yeah.
clouded up with all
Yeah.
those draining thoughts. Got to have
Definitely.
crystal clear binoculars to see what's
Yeah,
possible.
new mindset.
Yes,
And the
absolutely.
good thing is like you are the one in charge of your thoughts. You can change that. That's the good news.
Yeah, and this is exactly why people want coaches and people hire coaches like you. It's instead of just ruminating and commiserating with others, in this case around dating, which we all know people that do this, instead of just spinning around and why you're stuck, simply find a professional coach, someone like Colleen, and we'll talk
Yeah.
about Colleen's contact info in a little bit, someone who can actually help you get unstuck so that way you don't just stay where you are. So, I want to talk more about your coaching style. And I've had the pleasure of providing mentorship and feedback to Colleen, and our instructors have as well. She's gone through our program from start to finish. So, tell us, as you've gone through this training process and you've been certified for a while now, but what is, if in a few words, how would you describe the style that you have with your clients?
I really am about helping people get excited about this, really lighting the fire and just really standing by people. I'm going to just encourage you. I'm going to give you all sorts of inspiration and really hold you accountable to the goals that you have with positivity and determination. We're going to break through barriers and just transform you. And it starts with changing the way that you are feeling and thinking about all of this.
Yeah.
So lighting the fire, Frank,
I love
definitely.
it. I love it. And our listeners are just maybe hearing your voice and energy for the first time, but I will add and say that Colleen is someone who is so in your corner and so encouraging and supportive, but she's not going to let you slide.
Yeah, thank
She's
you.
not.
No. Yes.
She will address it if she notices
Yeah.
that you're getting in your own way. So there's a beautiful balance of this like real
Yeah.
sense of compassion, but also with that like tough love that sometimes needs to be there.
Because your win is my win. I am so excited to do this, and
Yeah.
just help people through this. Because it's possible.
Yeah,
Yeah.
totally. All right. So when it comes to your actual coaching services, you're offering one-on-one sessions, right?
Hmm.
And you also do group sessions, right?
I do. Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
good. Okay, so clients can have the choice of working with you one-on-one, or they could in your group. Now, do they have to start in the group before they become a one-on-one client, or can they choose which one
Choose
they want
which
to?
one. Yeah.
Okay, so
So
just
I
choose.
do. Yep. I have like a self-confidence building series where you can just
Okay.
do the group sessions or you can do one-to-one as well.
Excellent. Okay. And we talked about the ship metaphor earlier, but I know there is actually a three-step coaching framework that you created and that you guide your clients through. Would you mind sharing with us the three steps and what
Yes,
happens in
sure.
each of those
Yeah.
steps?
Yeah, I love that. Well, and they're pretty simple. Number one, what is getting in your way? We have to identify what is holding you back, whether it's past experiences, whether it's limiting beliefs that you just feel like no one's out there. We have to work through those because you're going to be doing the same things over and over again until we uncover those blocks that you have. And
Okay.
then move forward lighter, more focused, and just really with more clarity. And then once we do that, then you're going to go through a transformation and have have an empowering situation when you go forward. So you're
Mm,
going to be building self-confidence and just become that better version of yourself, the best version to enter into a relationship. So you're going to be adopting better habits. You're going to know what your values are and move forward, knowing exactly what you want. And then we're going to create a really fun, intentional dating plan where
love it.
you're coming through with these new ideas and this new mindset and making it more enjoyable and not this terrible task
Yeah,
or a job interview. You're searching and searching for the best match.
love
So a
it.
plan,
Okay.
very nice plan. Yeah.
So there is a combination of both the inner work, but also after you, as you mentioned, get rid of those blocks and then really transform from the inside out, then you're going to come up with an actual dating strategy and you're going to help your clients figure out how to go out into the dating world, schedule those dates, find those men, and then, form that connection. So it's
Yeah.
both the inner and the outer. Is that right?
Hmm.
Love
Yeah.
it. Okay. And you mentioned you've got some self-confidence webinars as well. And I know that you've got some resources for our listeners who might know somebody and who would desire your coaching, which we'll give a shout out to those resources in a moment. But I'd love to hear a little bit about like maybe some of the women that you've worked with, and what their transformation process looked like. So would you mind sharing about some of your previous clients?
Yeah, sure. It's very exciting. Let's see. I have a one of my clients, Melissa. She is over 40 and has never been married. And as we visited, it seemed like she thought her dating life was more like these lessons that she keeps learning and learning, but relearning and relearning and never really able to break out of this cycle. So in the process of visiting, we decided that she wanted to step back and just really take an evaluation of what she really, really wants, the non-negotiables. So she stepped back, not out of fear or low self-confidence, but just to really get clear on what she wanted moving forward. So she didn't kind of keep repeating these same patterns that she was repeating. So that's been super fun. And then there's Jenny, and she was just really exhausted, like
Mm,
little Charlotte on Sex and the City, and just really felt like it was more of a chore and a struggle and wasn't enjoying it at all. And so, how can you find somebody that you're going to spend your life with if it already starts in that direction? It's a chore and you've got to find this person. So we really focused on how can she do this with fun and with her values in place. And her number one value is adventure. So how are we going to do this with, using adventure and make it an adventure instead of this daunting task that you have to do? And then my client Dana, who she was kind of overwhelmed by all the options, the online dating, and she would open the apps and just be overwhelmed by all the profiles. And she
yeah.
trusted me enough to get on her app and seek out people that I thought aligned with her values and that she would be a perfect match for. And to her surprise, not mine, but I found her husband, and they've been married now for years, and they have a happy little family, and that's another reason why I knew I wanted to get into this because
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So
That is amazing.
yeah, that's
Wow.
wild.
It's so cool to hear the different headspaces that some of your previous clients have been in. Like, I like how Melissa was someone that was, just like, I want to go back into the dating world, but I want to have a plan. I want to have more
Mhm.
strategy and intention around it this time. And then you had Jenny, who's like, I'm just exhausted, disheartened, and I need to invoke fun into the process again. And then you have someone like Dana who's like, I just take my phone, help me. Or you were like, I'm
Help
I'm
me.
going through
Yeah.
I'm going through it. And boom, there's the love that's right there. That's
I know.
awesome.
Yeah.
Very, very cool.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm sure that our listeners, some of them are, just inspired at your success that you've had so far. And I know you're going to go on and continue to have more success with your coaching, but some of them might know others that are interested in getting in touch with you. So you've got an Instagram. We're going to put the link for your Instagram in
Okay. Yeah.
the show notes
Thank
for the
you.
episode. You post on there. You'll post like tips and resources. I know that. And tell us about the guide that you've created as well.
Yeah, so it's 7 things that you must stop doing now in order to find your partner. And it's a seven things that you really kind of evaluate and see where you are. And at the end of it, at the end of the lesson, then there's a worksheet where you kind of rate yourself on a wheel as to where what you're struggling with most, and then know it. If moving forward, what is the thing that you need to work on? So it's a
Excellent.
fun little exercise, and it's really self-revealing, and everybody likes to know about themselves more. So it's fun.
I love it. Okay, so I will also can they access that from your website, I'm guessing?
Yep. Yes, my website, and
Excellent.
it's a link in the Instagram as well.
That's also on Instagram. So I will put those links in the show notes. The website's www.colleenblatnick.com. I'll again put the link in the show notes. And that's where anyone interested can get a hold of those guides, the 7 habits
Yeah.
to, I think it has 7 habits you must break now to attract the love you want over 40. I love it. And
Yeah.
then from there, do potential clients, do they schedule a consultation with you or do they just enroll right into your coaching programs?
There you can schedule an appointment. We'll have a
Excellent.
consultation call and just
Okay.
see how we can work together.
Fantastic. I love
Yes.
it.
Thank
All
you.
right. Well, big congrats to you, Colleen, for
Thank
the
you, Frank.
success you've had with your coaching. Thank you so much. I just am so pumped for you. And especially when you were sharing those client success stories, I know how much that must mean to you to actually
Yeah.
hear the difference of the coaching that you're doing. Um, so, listeners, all of the links in the show notes. And Colleen, thank you for being an example of what's possible as well to the coaches out there or the aspiring coaches. I'm really grateful that you took some time to be in our podcast today.
Thank you for having me, Frank. Thanks.
All right. And everyone else, we will see you in the next episode. Bye. Hey, would you like access to powerful coaching tools you can use on yourself and clients right away? For being a listener of the podcast, I'm giving you a VIP guest pass to get a sneak peek into my coach training program. Inside, you'll learn our coaches' secret tool they use to transform their clients' lives. And you'll also get a training on how to launch a coaching business. Just head over to www.thrivingcoachacademy.com/VIP to get started. I'll see you on the inside.